Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where you don't want to know how much time it took for Valentina to get this thing up right. It was slightly extreme. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. So our Science Junior here, we've already gathered the data from that. Also, our station, you'll notice, is a little bit closer than it was before. There, might have been a bit of a migration. But we're good. We got it standing, and ultimately we have identified a serious problem with this design. And that is, it's a little on the top-heavy side. I mean, now that I saved the game and reloaded it and reset the physics, we're all good. But realistically, we can't land this thing effectively. So what we're going to need to do is we need to get this one back to Earth. Or rather, Kerbin. But we also need to lower these fuel tanks a little bit and probably stick the landing legs on the tanks just exclusively for the purpose of widening our base here so that we're a little less top heavy. Now the other thing is that I really truly do miss MechJeb, specifically ASS, Smart ASS, because I relied pretty heavily on being able to aim up, down, horizon velocity up, horizon velocity down, etc. Those things specifically, I miss a lot. We're very close to up right now, and we're ready to go. One thing that the commenters, or one commenter in particular, pointed out was that when deployed by engineers, these power panels are going to have better power production. One thing I don't know is if we bring an engineer and we go over there and collect it and redeploy it, do we get that bonus? We're going to have to find that out. But for right now, I think we should just bring Valentina home. So let's get out of here. Gonna just try to stick it up for right now and get as much altitude as we can, or as we need. We're going to go to an apoapsis of, I don't know, something like around 30 kilometers maybe, and then we'll just start going for an orbit. Okay, that's 10 kilometers. Honestly, I think that's enough. Let's head down towards an equatorial orbit now. Right about here. Our heading isn't quite right. There. And that's 89 degrees. Right about there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and retract the landing legs, because we don't need them anymore. And let's hop into our map view and take a quick look at our apoapsis here. So you can see that the time is not going up or down for our reaching of the apoapsis. Okay, now it's going up. That's actually a good sign, though. This is about where we want it to be. I want to continue pushing the apoapsis up until we reach about 30 kilometers or so. And then we will go ahead and cut this burn, and burn closer to the apoapsis, pure prograde. So that's 23 kilometers. 25 is probably sufficient, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then add a maneuver. This is going to be a prograde burn. And I want to get into orbit. It doesn't really matter what kind of an orbit we're looking at. That'll do. Okay, this is going to be a pure prograde burn. Burn time of 17 seconds, and that is in T-minus 2 minutes and 52 seconds. So we want to burn that at about 8.5 seconds. And so we shall. Let's go ahead and warp forward a little bit here. Do we not have a reaction wheel in the lander can? I bet we don't. No, we do have a reaction wheel. It just really can't handle this. Okay. Oh, it's because we have no electric charge? We have no electric charge. I did not put a solar panel on this. Okay, so there's another flaw in this lander design. I'm going to go ahead and throttle up ever so slightly to get us pitching down towards where we need to go. And then I'm going to, once we overshoot it slightly, I'm going to time warp to lock the physics. About right now. Okay, and we will go ahead and burn this at T-8. So, very, very shortly now. There we go. There we go, and another 50 meters per second. Good enough. We should be in a reasonably solid orbit. And indeed we are. Fantastic. Okay, so the question now is, if we were to burn at the apoapsis, what kind of a return would this look like? That's basically a slingshot. Okay. That's not what we're looking for. What if we were to burn at the periapsis? That is a much better return. Okay, and then we will just bring this down to about 79 kilometers. Sounds good to me. The apoapsis here is still very high, and I want to lower that, but we'll be able to lower that as we approach the periapsis. We'll have to look at how much delta V we have left, but right now we have 279.6, which is plenty. This is how much it's going to cost to make this maneuver. We have 2,426 right now. So our node is in about half an hour, and our burn time is going to be 39 seconds. So we should go ahead and do this at 19.5 seconds, T-. So let's just go ahead and warp to next maneuver. And that'll put us in slightly before. Now we're not going to be oriented, and we're not going to get oriented because we have no electric charge, because I am an idiot. And it is wonderful. Okay, so we are kind of close to being oriented. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick burn like that, just to get us starting to pitch the direction we need to go. And then once we get in very, very close here, I'll go ahead and lock physics right about now. Excellent. This is definitely not gamey at all. Okay, so we need to burn this at about 19 seconds. So right now, specifically. And we are on our way back. So the next question is, how much delta V will it take to lower our apoapsis? That is what we need to figure out after this burn. But we've still got a little bit of time left on this burn, and plenty of delta V in the tank. Hooray for over-engineering. That is all. Okay, so that should be our escape trajectory. Let's just go ahead and see what our final periapsis looks like. That looks basically perfect. We are barely in the atmosphere there, so we are going to be, with this burn, we are going to be aerobraking a tiny, tiny amount. That's okay. We'll go ahead and do a retrograde burn here, and we're going to burn basically all of the rest of our speed off. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of gas in the tank for this. We'll bring this down to about 20 kilometers, just to have a little bit of extra pad. That was too much. Come on. 20 kilometers. Right about like that. That'll do. Okay, so let's go ahead and warp to that maneuver. That's going to be a 1 minute and 48 second burn time, so I'm going to actually warp a little bit closer. Okay. Something along the lines of this. Because we're going to need to burn this at what? 30 seconds plus 24 seconds? So 54 seconds is when we need to start this burn. Okay, let's start pitching towards prograde a bit here. Or actually, we want to go towards retrograde. Let's just pitch very, very slowly over. Whoa. That, very suddenly started pitching. Oh, we do have a solar panel? I was just oriented the wrong way? I thought I couldn't be that dumb. Oh, there it is, yeah. Okay. We do have a solar panel and a reaction wheel. We just need more solar panels. Possibly on these outer stages. I don't know, we might want to recover them. So we'll have to see. Node is in T-minus 1 minute and 41 seconds, and we wanted to do this at 58 seconds for the burn, so I'm going to go ahead and accelerate time a little bit until we are closer. Okay, 4 seconds to go. And let's burn. Excellent. So this should get us a very, very solid re-entry orbit with some fuel left over. Like, almost a kilometer per second left over, which is slightly insane. I don't know if we'll jettison it, or... well, we will eventually. I don't know if we'll do a re-entry burn or not. I mean, this is kind of already a re-entry burn. I guess I don't think we need to, realistically, do a re-entry burn. I think this is plenty. Like, our apoapsis is going to be this number here. And our periapsis is going to be like 30k. I really don't think it's a problem. This pretty much is our re-entry burn. I don't think we need to do anything else, so after this burn, I think we're completely fine to just jettison this. Double check the staging on that. Seems fine. Well, this burn will be done in about 20 seconds. We are losing a bit of attitude on our maneuver node, but that's okay. Our apoapsis is still a bit up there, but now it's dropping fast. Okay. Our periapsis is now about 10 kilometers. We'll call that good enough. That happens, of course, because we don't have the ability to lock to the maneuver node, but it's fine. So let's go ahead and, at this point, ditch this engine and the tanks. We've got an extra 1,224 meters per second. But realistically, we don't need them. Okay, get out of here, engine. Get out of here, engine. Trying to fling it. The engine... oh, there it detached. Fantastic. We are in the atmosphere, so... yeah, it's tumbling out of our way. Fantastic. So, at this point... I'm just going to quick save, because I never trust physics warping in the atmosphere. But we will go ahead and physics warp towards the ground a little bit here. Once we start seeing major atmospheric effects, I'm going to stop the physics warp, because it can have really big issues with holding attitude while under physics warp. How goes our ablation? Our ablation is fine. No worries so far. I have never had the ablator run out of ablation, so I don't know why I always check it. I guess I'm always trying to think of scenarios where it might. Like, the heat shield would be completely wore down. Maybe if you were, like, doing a re-entry via multiple aerobrake passes into Eve or something? Perhaps. But I'm going to go ahead and turn off the time warp now that we're starting to see atmospheric effects. We are in radar terrain mode as opposed to sea level mode. They are slightly different numbers. Used to be, in order to see this number, you had to go into the cockpit and physically look at the instruments over here. The radar altitude instrument there. I'm glad they added it here. That's much more convenient, I'll be honest. But yeah, overall, we've got some overhauls to do on this lander. We definitely have identified some issues. But first, we need to get Valentina home safe. Currently 40 kilometers above the surface, and our speed is dropping quickly. Which is good, because it needs to. We've still got a lot of air between us and the ground. We need to get down to about 800 meters per second or so, I believe, before the drogue chutes become safe to deploy. But then once that happens, everything else is easy peasy. Let's go ahead and make sure that everything is in the experiment storage unit, just in case. Excellent. Okay, we are decelerating much more quickly now, although not as quickly as we will be. Down below 2 kilometers per second, which is nice. Now as we drop down below 30 kilometers, the atmosphere continues to grow thicker, decelerating us even further. 1,500 meters per second as of right now. Pretty soon we're going to be dropping under 25 kilometers. We've held attitude very nicely. I'm very happy about that re-entry profile. And here we go. We are ready to deploy drogue chutes momentarily. SAS is no longer a necessity. We can now tumble freely. Drogue chutes are now safe to deploy. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. Slow us down even further. The main chute will be safe to deploy shortly. There we go. And now we can physics warp to the surface. Quite safely. Theoretically, assuming we don't have a physics kraken of some type. So how much science are we going to get from this? Answer, a whole lot. We'll also get a good amount of money from this. One kilometer above the surface now. And there goes our main chute deployment. And this section right here, this is why I'm sitting in +4 time acceleration. We're moving at 7 meters per second and 400 meters above the surface. It's a wee bit slow. But we are going into water, which I believe is exactly the same radar terrain and actually sea level. We'll be landing momentarily. There we go. Valentina is home. Excellent. Let's recover this. There we go. And see how much science we get. It's going to be a lot. There's no doubt about that. 445 science. That is insane. We also got a lot of money for it. We got a world first milestone, and we completed a contract. However, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we'll address some of the problems we detected in this particular launch. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time.